Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today is going to be a long video, as I've been asked by many people, could I please do a state of the collection for my Sinn watches. Now as you know, if you follow the channel, you know I quite like my Sinn watches. I've been collecting them now for over 15 years. I've been interested in the brand for a lot longer than that. It all started off when I moved to Germany. Basically, this would have been the very late 90s. I went to, very early 20s. I went to go and work for Audi in Ingolstadt, Germany, which is part of Bavaria. And basically, back in the late 90s, Germany would close down at around about 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and all the shops would close. So if I wasn't working on especially on a Sunday, I'd go window shopping. And I remember walking past a jewellery shop in the centre and looking at a watch and thinking, that is just so cool. I really like that watch. I was into watches like most guys, but I wasn't a collector. I didn't know what I know now, obviously. And the watch I seen was this, the Sinn EZM2. Now, I didn't have the funds or one in position to buy one of these until 2009, and I just stumbled across it accidentally. I was looking on an online auction house and I seen this. Now, this was no ordinary EZM2. I say that as if there is such an ordinary thing, but this was one of the aluminium attaché box set ones, and this came with a DVD, a LED lens, a LED light. And it's just a really cool bit of kit. I've since spoken to Sinn about this, and they reckon, I can't remember if they said 127 or 140 were made. That was it. Later, they made a version, like I say, mine came with a video cassette, the VHS, and later it came with a DVD. And because there was a bit of a space, they actually included a ceramic knife in the later one. So I asked them very nicely, and for a very large, steep amount of money, they supplied me with this. And this is the GSG9 ceramic knife from that set, and it is a very cool knife, very flash bit of kit. So that was really nice, and I love this watch. I love the fact that you can see it from acute angles like that. You can still read the time. It should not be possible. It is such a cool watch, and being that it is so slim, it can still, the case on this watch can take 11.5 kilometers of water pressure. And because this was late 90s when this was created, on the back it says Wasserdicht, so waterproof, and obviously you can't do that anymore. But yeah, absolute great watch. So I picked this up in 2009. Now, obviously when you first start collecting watches, this is really cool, but you think that's a quartz, and I want an automatic because, that's the way it is. So I looked around, and I started going on all the forums, and they said the one watch from Sinn you have to own is one of these. And this is the EZM1. This was created the same time as this, so sort of like released around about in late 98. These were released, and so I wanted one, and I came across this one. But the story is first. In the back of this is a Le Manier 5100 movement. Now, Le Manier went bust, which obviously affected all the manufacturers which used this movement, which included Sinn, Omega, Hoya, all these kind of brands. And so you just couldn't get hold of the movement. And after the bailiffs had gone through, took all the money out of the what was left to pay the creditors of Le Manier, there was 250 movements left. And so Sinn snatched them before anyone, and they created this, the limited edition 250 range. So this was released in 2008. I brought this in late 2009, I think, for the sum of about £2,200 at the time. I think this I paid only £600 for. They're about £2,000 now, and these are anywhere between 6 and 10,000 depending on where you buy it. And I love this watch, really cool. It's made of titanium. It's unlike even the newer version, which is larger and made of steel. That only has 200 meters of water resistant. The original has 300, and it's just such a cool watch. The only problem with the later one, this one, the limited edition, is it came with hollow end links on here. So I converted a set of 503 end links, filed the back out of them to allow me to fit this titanium strap to it. Now, obviously, you've got a bit of a gap here, and many of the collectors on Watch Your Seek bombarded Sinn with, we want a new titanium bracelet with integrated end links. And so they created one, and I missed out on that, which was a little bit of a shame. Now, yeah, this watch, just a powerhouse, really cool. I remember phoning up Sinn saying, do you have the silicone bands for this watch? And they actually said, can you call us back later, because we've got to check. And they came back and they said, rather than the standard silicone band, they said we found one more of these, and this is the very original EZM1 bands. And they said this is the very last one in the company, so we'll send you that. So I actually brought that off them, and that was just really super cool. So it was really nice to have that. So then, the year later, 2010, I brought 2 Sinn watches. You know, I was on a bit of a flurry then. I was, you know, a contractor out there, you know, making an okay living and single, so I could buy watches. And basically, I brought this one first. This is the UX. Now, this was the new successor to this. This is the EZM2. This is the EZM2B. And basically, it's larger. It has a better thermostable movement because the accuracy on these isn't as good as this. This is around about 8 seconds a year, I find, roughly. Now, when I first brought this, it didn't have the SDR bezel. It came with this, the silver bezel. I've got a couple of these there. And so I liked the watch, I really did, but I was, you know, buying and selling watches all the time. And I only kept this for about 6 months and sold it to a guy from Finland. And we'll come back to this watch in a minute. So the other watch I brought was a U2 in black. And I thought this watch was really cool. Again, an absolute powerhouse from Sinn. But I say, what happened was I sold this watch. Not this watch. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I sold it to fund a black ceramic Panerai radium. So that I sold to an Irish guy. That had gone. But again, we'll come back to these in a second. So then in 2013, I missed that watch so much. I really missed it. I don't know why. It was one of these watches, and basically my wife-to-be surprised me and brought it me for my birthday. And so this is, you know, a brand new one, and it came on the black bracelet there, and it was really, really nice of her. So I was reunited with a U2, albeit not the one I'd brought before, which was a used model. This was a brand new one. Now, as you can see, I've got it paired with the silicone strap on here with the deployment clasp there. I've also got red bands for this, and somewhere, I don't know where I'll put them, I've got a white band as well. Yeah, that's not the correct one, but I do have a white band for it as well. And it is just a solid watch. This has got 2 kilometers of water resistant. It has a ETA movement, being this is one of the original ones, and a full GMT complication there. So it is just a real tank of a watch. Now, I've heard many people say, you know, how does a PVD coating stand up over the years? Now, I've had this watch for 11 years, and you can see how wow. To be fair, I don't wear it all the time, but you can see there's a little bit of rub marks there where it has rubbed a little bit of the coating away. That's 11 years. You show me a watch was 11 years old, generally there's more scratches than that on there. So this is a very tough surface they do put on there. Now, 2014 came around, and again, my wife-to-be, I was very happy. She brought me one of these. I was lucky enough to see the press release of this watch and thought, wow, really like it. And what she'd done is contacted Sinn and said, when this watch comes out, can I buy one, please? And so she actually got this on the day of release in Germany. I think I was living in Wolfsburg because I was working for Volkswagen as a claim modeler for Volkswagen at the time. And I was lucky enough to get this. The serial number on the back, last 4 digits are 0026. It's actually the 26th one ever made by Sinn. The first 10 stay at the factory and the rest go out to the suppliers. And we got this on the day of release. It just literally come in. They haven't even unpacked it. And so I was lucky enough to get one. Now, many years later, I did a video saying, why don't, because there was on the EZM3 model, there's the EZM3 and 3F, which has got a cleaner dial. So I said in this like 5-minute video, wouldn't it be nice if they could make one and call it the F model and get rid of the numbers, as it will just make it look a lot cleaner. Subsequently, excuse me, a year or so later, they made it, and I never got any thanks for it, but there you go, I'll accept that. But this is a real powerhouse. It's a 500-meter diver with a chronograph, a 60-minute chronograph air, constant running seconds air, date. And you may say, what point is a chronograph in water? But this, you can actually press the buttons while it's underwater. So it is kind of very, very cool. This watch actually looks really good on the white silicon strap. I got that last time I was at a factory in Germany. So that is an absolutely superb watch. Now, 2017 came round and I'd moved to Czech Republic. I was living in a city called Mladá Boleslav and working for Skoda. And basically, when I was there, the same guy who was also a clay modeler I worked with in Wolfsburg 7 years prior was there. And I said to him, do you still have that Sinn watch I sold you? And he says, oh yeah, I think the battery's gone. And I said, do you want to swap it? I've got an Oris F1 day date. Now at the time they were worth 300 something pounds. And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I got this an absolute bargain back. I was not going to complain. Now, as I say, needed a battery change. So I sent it off to Sinn. And I said to them, can you convert it to the GSG9 model? So they rotated the case round, because on the UX it comes, the crown's down there, on the GSG9 it's up there. They put the GSG9 dial on there and the GSG9 white second hand. And I think I also purchased a bracelet for it while I was there. So they did all that for me, and I later brought the black SDR bezel. So I'd say I like swapping them around every so often. I have a second bezel there as well, which I might convert to GSG9 colours. So that was just, it's a great watch. Now, this also have a silicone bands for, but as you can see, this is on a black leather custom strap. Now, I'm working on basically talking to John Keeley from Black Island Leatherworks, and we're going to start doing these custom leather straps to fit Sinn clasps. And I hope to do a video about these when he's got a few more available, and we're going to start releasing them so people can buy custom leather straps. Now, if you're worried there's no adjustment on here, well, it won't matter, because these will come with 3 different bands, all being 5mm slightly different. So you'll have 5mm below your exact size, and 5mm above, and that will be something for for us guys on Sinns to use for clasp, but also use a leather strap, which will be very, very cool. Now, this watch, I should point out, is another oiled filled watch, and you can see I can read it from silly angles. It's just unbelievable. This watch can actually take, the case can take 12 kilometers of water pressure, but the movement, they say, will stop after 5 kilometers of water pressure. So, they're just superb. They can do that by use of a diaphragm on the back, and it is just a very, very cool watch. Say, thermostable movement, absolutely superb. So, basically, it was very early 2020 that I brought my next Sinn watch. As you can see, it's not here, but it was a 556 anniversary model. And to be fair, it was a great watch. It had the ETA movement. I really enjoyed it. It had just been serviced. And so I really liked the watch. But in 2021, I brought this watch. And this is a 556A. This was always my favourite 556 because I love the 12369 layout on it. It looks a more casual wear than the 556i model. I still like the I think the I is fantastic. And I liked it a lot, and I found myself only wearing this one, not the anniversary one. So I actually sold the anniversary watch, I think, to fund, I can't remember, I think it was an Oris 65 diver. And, you know, I kept this one. This one I also have the fine link bracelet for as well. I brought that. I find it elevates it, gives it a bit more of a dressier look. This watch overall, it's Sinn's entry-level watch, but it still has 200 meters of water resistance, still has a movement which is within chronometer specs for SW200 in this one. And it's a strap monster as well. What I mean by it, you can put any strap you like on these watches and they just look superb. They're so comfortable on wrist, and it is, do you really need any more of a watch than this? Not really, but we all know we do. This watch, I must point out, also looks great on a silicone bracelet. Not by mistake with the large clasp. I think the large clasp just looks silly on these watches because they're actually, you know, the same size as the watch itself or bigger. And so on the small clasp, it looks superb. Really, really impressive. So then late in 2021, I came across this one, the 104. I think it was, no, sorry, it was, no, 104, it wasn't 103, sorry. So I came across this on eBay, and it was on such a good price that it would have been absolutely rude of me not to buy it. It's only, I think it was 18 months old. The only problem was it was running plus 16 when I got it, and being that it was still under warranty, I weren't going to open the back up myself, so I sent it off to the UK Sinn Service Centre. I think it was TWR, and when I phoned them up, explained, and they said, yeah, it's a Sinn, it should be within chronometer specs. So I was like, okay, sent it off to them, and it came back and it was running plus 2 seconds and has done ever since. It didn't come on this bracelet. It did come on this H-Link bracelet there, but I like swapping them over, as you can tell. And basically, this is a superb watch. It is, you know, just superb. It, you know, it's got the bezel on there, bi-directional bezel, so it can go either way. And on the back, you have the Sellita SW200 movement. This is one of the old ones with the gold rotor. The new ones look really nice with the rhodium plated rotor on there. But it is a great watch. 200 meter diver, day date. I would be intrigued if they made this without the day on there and just have the date. I think that would look very, very cool. But overall, it is just a great watch, and it punches well above its weight. Because I think this was the first watch from Sinn I'd got which was polished, it just seems more expensive. Now, if you look at also the bezel insert is only aluminium, but it's polished, you know, glossy, versus the more matte finish on all of the other ones. So this just looked and felt a more expensive watch. It was, you know, just from its pure optics, it looks great. Now, in 2022, I'd been doing a lot of work for Sinn and a jewelry shop at a time, and I got offered one of these at a very, very good price. Brand new. This is the Sinn 144 anniversary, and it is just, oh, I think it is such a good looking watch. Classic design. This design has been with Sinn since 1974, so 50 years, and it's a great pilot's watch. You know, obviously IWC had the first one, which came out in 73. I would love to get one with all the black subdials, to be fair. I'm going to do a long-term review of this. It's a watch I really enjoy. It also came on the, he says in there somewhere, is the H-Link black PVD bracelet. But the advantage of the anniversary model is when you take this out, you're actually greeted with 2 different sets of spring bar holes. So you can fit the bracelet, which looks great, gives it the vintage look, or you can put this new silicone strap on there and look at the way it fits. It is seamless. It is absolutely superb. And I think this makes the watch look far more modern. It's so comfortable. These silicone straps from Sinn, some of the ones I've got here are, what would they be? I think from 2007. And they're still super pliable. You know, as we say, the EZM1 from here. Now, I can only imagine, this I believe came out, they probably would have made this back in 2008, 2007. And look how pliable it is. There's no cracking. It's not hard. It is absolutely superb. So full testament to how good these are. Now this is with the new butterfly clasp. The old one had a open link there, like you can see on these. It has got an open link. I have repeat blasted this, so I've got to change it actually. But this one has the fold over section here, and as you can see, it is just superb. And the beauty of these, you do have you have micro adjustment on each side. This one has got their new Concepto movement in there, but basically that is a 7750 derivative. And all of these, every single watch I've got here, bar the EZM2, are all within chronometer specs. This one was about 2 seconds, 1 or 2 seconds a day, and it is just, I think, such a cracking looking watch. Really, really impressive. Now, the very last watch I got from Sinn, this was in late 2022, was this. It came up on one of the watch forums for sale, and it was a bit battered, to be fair. The insert, the bezel insert and the bezel itself, I think, were quite beaten up. The AR coating is all beaten up. There's actually a ding in the side there, but I'm going to I might laser weld that myself and then cut that back and repolish it, and you won't even notice. But because of all that, it was on for a stupidly low price, over 1,000 under what it should have been. And so, you know, I brought it. I was at Sinn a year or so ago, and just asked Kai, their chief watchmaker, if he'd just regulate it for me while he was there. And so he regulated it for me, and it is just a solid watch. The bracelet was shot to it, to be fair. I got the bracelet, I don't know where, somewhere I've got the bracelet for it, and it was absolutely shot. So this is the bracelet off the 104 I've put on here. This is a 103 reverse panda. This one dates all the way back to 2007, so it's many years old. And so I changed the bracelet over, and you know, it's superb. It's an absolute classic. This has got, because it's the old one, it's got the ETA 7750 movement there. Probably could do with a service, so I'll probably take this one apart and service this one myself later on in the year. It is just quality. The loom still looks amazing. The loom on all these watches, to be fair, are good. The loom on the oil-filled watches isn't as good as the others, but the loom on the rest of them is very, very strong. It is a good quality loom. So overall, superb. Now, as you can see, it's not just the watches I've got. I've got the big Sinn Pelican case. I've got the travel cases. Even down to the like silly thing. Like you can see, obviously, I've got lots and lots of clasps, and these aren't all of them. I'm not sure where the others are, but I've got more. But these are the kind of tools you get when you buy a Sinn watch. These are the modern ones. Now, there are others. This one, which one is it? This one here. This came with my EZM1, and you can see slightly a different design to the other ones, a bit more expensive, I should say. The new ones are obviously fully functional, but these ones obviously cost a bit more. This got pin push on there. Now, one thing I should say, these are all removable. You can unscrew these and take them out. But when you unscrew this here, you have the screwdriver bit there. They use the screwdriver at Sinn as a spring bar tool as well. And if you want to get a little bit more extra purchase on this, you can move that out and give yourself more purchase. Now, I think these came on all the watches prior to like 2008-ish. So my 103, he says, came with this one. This would have been the very last variant they ever made, because this has got the H-link ends on here. As to when you unscrew it, it's got another one, so you can actually undo the bracelet and obviously then apply the thread lock you also get with it. And so that's pretty well it, guys. That is, you know, obviously I've got my notebooks, I've got the cups, I've got so much Sinn stuff. It is really, you know, a bit of a Sinn fan, as you may have noticed. So any questions, leave them in the comments below. Sorry for this one being so long, but we've got a lot to talk about. And one thing I should say, actually, before I go, this is in fact my whole German collection, because we've got the Nomos watch up there and I'm wearing the Larco. So this really isn't just the Sinn state of a collection. This is my German state of a collection. It's took me many years to build up, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I say, stay safe and take care of yourselves. All the best. Bye.